Welcome to the twoprophets.org program with Edward D. McKinney. Today is May 9th, Sunday, 2010. I am speaking from Big Sky, Montana, the mountain of God. Today's subject, how do people you know worship the beast? We're accepting calls because we would like to hear your personal stories of how people have preyed on you, and these are examples of how people worship the beast. Now, this issue is the most important of our time because we are dealing with the end of time and the return of Jesus Christ. The events of the end of time are described in the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation has one main subject, and that is the beast of the book of Revelation. So in every church across the world, the subject of how people worship the beast ought to be the number one priority. Ironically, this is not even discussed in church. And yet, if people worship the beast, as is stated in the book of Revelation, they are enemies of God, and there is no way that they are going to be given eternal life at the return of Jesus Christ. How amazing that the most important issue of our times is not even mentioned or brought up in churches. Well, we're going to bring the subject up. Now, when two people get together, they have to establish a relationship. How are they going to communicate with each other? And this is an extremely important issue because it differentiates between people who worship the beast, people who are going to hell, people who are enemies of God, and people who are going to heaven and worship God. You see, people who worship the beast immediately want to establish a predator relationship with you. They want to establish dominance and control. On the other hand, people who are going to heaven, people who are in the image of God, are trying to establish an equal relationship with you with the free exchange of information and acceptance. Now, there are examples that everybody could bring up in their lifetime where they have had relationships with individuals, with ministers, with people at work, with people they work for, with people they vote for, and this is divided into two groups. How are you going to communicate with this person or these people? What is your relationship? Is it predatorial, based on dominance and control, or is it based on equality, love, nurturing, mutual respect? I'm hoping that you will call in and share your experiences because we can prosect them and show as examples to everybody who listens how the relationship that you have with people, with businesses, with religious leaders can be divided into two groups. One is either predatorial, where you are being preyed upon in some way, shape, or form, or you have a one-to-one nurturing relationship because you are in the image of God and you are trying to establish equality and love and mutual respect. Okay, I am going to talk about one of the main issues of the day, which is illegal labor. And I am going to show how this relates to the worship of the beast. Now, everybody involved with illegal labor except you, is a predator, is a worshiper of the beast. Because they are all establishing a predator relationship that preys upon and that is opposed to the middle class worker. Everybody involved with illegal labor is trying to take your job away, make you homeless, make you unemployed, make you underpaid by giving your job to illegal laborer. What are their motives? Their motives are evil. They're thieves, they're liars, they're crooks, they're scammers. And I'm going to go through each interest group and explain how these people have a predatorial relationship with you, and they are opposed to you, and they're taking advantage of you, and they're stealing your job. Not only that, they're trying to keep you shut up while they do it. Now, before I had the example of a predator, the king of predators, a lion. A lion sneaks up in the tall grass. He doesn't want to be seen. He uses the tall grass as camouflage. And a characteristic of a person who worships the beast, who is a predator, he uses camouflage. He is not what he seems. He could be a wolf in sheep's clothing. Another thing is that when a lion gets prey in its claws, it chokes its neck, and this serves to keep the prey quiet while suffocating. And this is what happens with the illegal labor. See, the press attacks you, a middle-class employee, for screaming out in pain when you lose your job. The left-wing press shames you by telling you that you are an evil person, you're racist, etc., etc. This is just camouflage. This is smokescreen. The left-wing press wants more voters for left-wing causes. So they want to supplant middle-class workers who have middle-class values with a slave labor force that will consistently vote for left-wing causes. Now, illegal labor is itself prey. This is because the businesses, the farmers, etc., they want a slave labor force that will work for little and never complain and also be exposed to illegal chemicals, etc., etc. This slave labor force is getting under the wire. They're coming in and they take jobs that circumvent government regulations that prevent laborers from working without pay and even being cheated out of their checks. We have seen where farmers just absolutely refuse to pay their illegal laborers and dare them to complain because they would be arrested and sent back to wherever they came from. So you see, this is a mess of predators. Everybody involved is a predator, except you, because you're the victim. You as a middle-class worker are the victim of this. But anyway, there were accounts in Mexican newspapers about illegal laborers who work for small industries and for farmers who had hideously deformed babies because they were exposed to illegal chemicals. This was a plague. It was not just one or two isolated incidents. There was a plague of women, illegal laborers, who had deformed babies. Now, why wasn't this in the newspaper, in the left-wing newspapers? Because the left wing acted as predators. They kept it quiet because they wanted a flood of illegal laborers who would eventually be voters for left-wing causes. See how the left-wing press has served as being a predator by censoring the news? This news was only available in Mexican newspapers or in British newspapers, because in the United States the left-wing establishment methodically, intentionally censored this news and refused to print it, so that people in the very communities where women were having deformed babies were not aware of these deformed babies. The left-wing newspapers kept it quiet so that there would be no outrage. And this harkens back to my example of a lion in the grass. He attacks the prey. He grabs it by the throat. The prey, the deer, the antelope, cannot cry out because it doesn't have a voice. In the United States, the press is the voice. But left-wingers who are in the news establishment are like lions, and they're choking the voice of America for their own ideological reasons. In other words, these people in the left-wing press are predators. They worship the beast. These people are going to hell, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And yet many of these very same people attend church. The illegals attend church. People in the press attend church. The farmers that hire illegals attend church. The businessmen who knowingly hire illegals attend church. By the way, these farmers and business owners, they get away scot-free. They don't pay any penalty for the predatory conduct. And actually, the farmers and the businessmen are the enemies of the United States. They're enemies of you because eventually they're going to make your wages so low and your benefits so low that your life is going to be harder and harder, and eventually you stand a good chance of losing your job, losing your home, and being homeless, because your job was given by these predators, these businessmen, these farmers, to illegals who are themselves preyed upon. This is a mess, a nest of predators. So let's go through each section of predators in this nest and show how each special interest is preying on, taking advantage of middle-class workers who, by the way, pay taxes in order to support illegal laborers who cannot possibly exist on their own income. Because remember, the farmers and the businessmen are preying on them. They're paying them the least possible wages. These illegals can't make it. So who gets stuck with the bill? You get stuck with the bill. And the liberal press keeps you shut up because it doesn't want you to complain. Now, the left-wing press, it has camouflage. It knows very well that it is predatorial. The people who do this in the left-wing press, they are worshipers of the beast. But like lions in the grass, they have camouflage. What is their camouflage? They say, oh, we're liberal. We love people. We're opening up the United States to immigration because we are so full of love for people. This is total camouflage and total lie. Now, the left-wing press, it has camouflage. it knows very well that it is predatorial. The people who do this in the left-wing press, they are worshipers of the beast. But like lions in the grass, they have camouflage. What is their camouflage? They say, oh, we're liberal, we love people. We're opening up the United States to immigration because we are so full of love for people. This is total camouflage and total lie. Our nation was built on legal immigrants. And besides, the issue isn't immigrants. Now, why does the left-wing press keep using the term illegal immigrants instead of illegal laborers? Because the real issue is the taking of American jobs and giving them to abused illegal laborers. It's because they're camouflaging. Remember the lion in the tall grass? He used the tall grass as camouflage for his predatory acts, and this is what the left-wing press is doing. It's putting whitewash on their evil. Now, does the left-wing press love Americans? No, they hate Americans. They hate middle-class Americans because middle-class Americans are conservative and Christian. So the left-wing press is part of the conspiracy to move in illegal laborers who will eventually become left-wing voters to outvote you at the polls. So see, it's diabolical. People in the left-wing press are examples of people who worship the beast. They're going to hell. These people do not have eternal life because they're lawless. They're breaking the law. They know that they're breaking the law. But their political motives and their own self-delusion, because they think they're good people, is causing them to do this. But they're deluding themselves and they're deluding you. These are people who worship the beast. Excellent examples. Now, the left-wing press is known for Marxist ideas. They want socialism. The more socialism, the better. Illegal laborers are dependent on socialism to exist because the farmers and businessmen are predators and they won't pay them enough to exist. Why don't we just do away with the illegal labor issue by paying fair wages to American workers? Well, farmers and businessmen are predators. They don't want to pay fair wages because they want to live in the beautiful homes and get rich. Have you ever driven through the farming country, especially in California? Mansion after mansion. These people are ultra rich. And yet they get on television and say, oh, poor me, poor me. We have to hire illegals because nobody else would do this work. That is a total lie. The government has restrictions on the use of chemicals that farmers want to avoid. They can do that by hiring illegals who will keep their mouths shut. The lion grabs the throat of the prey. So the farmers have the throat of illegal laborers. Now, what about Obama? Obama is a predator. His job is to secure the borders of the United States. He not only refuses to control the borders of the United States, he removed over 1,000 guards from the Mexican border in order to ensure that millions of illegal laborers would flood in. What is his motive? His motive is that he's a predator. He's lying. He's a liar. He's the king of liars. You know, Reagan was called the great communicator. Well, Obama is the great liar. Obama says, oh, this is a complex issue. Yeah, we have to really straighten out this complex issue. We have to create laws. It's going to take time. Well, hasn't every president said that? And what is their motive for saying that? They're avoiding their job. Their job is to secure the border. Presidents of the United States are predators. They worship the beast. They're going to hell. You can't name a recent president of the United States that isn't going to hell because they worship the beast. They're predators. And this issue of illegal labor just brings it to the fore. Now, it is not a complicated issue to secure the border. And states are now trying to make up for the stupidity and the greed and the evil of U.S. presidents by creating laws to secure the borders. And what does Obama say? Oh, it's highly irresponsible. See how he's hiding in the tall grass, just like the lion. He's got the camouflage going. Oh, they're irresponsible. That's a clear case of projection, because guess who's irresponsible? It is Obama and the other presidents who have removed guards from the border in order to allow millions of illegal laborers to flood in. Why are they doing this? Well, Obama's a Democrat, a Marxist, and he hates the middle class, as he has demonstrated over and over again. He squandered the stimulus package on stupidity in order to make sure that none of it went to middle-class workers and none of it created jobs. Tell me, how many jobs were net created by the Obama stimulus package? There were none. As a matter of fact, we lost millions of jobs every month since Obama has been president. So no jobs were created. We lost millions of jobs. Obama is shown to be a predator, worships the beast, a person who hates middle-class workers, middle-class values, and he's going to hell. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And he's going to have good company with Bush and all the other presidents who opened up the border to illegal labor. Now let's move on to business owners who hire illegals. And like I said before, these are people who go to church, many of them. But they're liars and thieves. They worship the beast. Isn't it readily apparent why in churches there's a dead silence? Why ministers do not talk about the worship of the beast and being predators? Because they want that tithe money. They want the offerings from the businessmen and the farmers who worship the beast, who are stealing from laborers, who are taking your job by hiring illegals so that they can pocket all the money. What is the camouflage that businessmen use? One of the camouflages is, we can't tell if people are illegal. Yeah, they can tell people are illegal, but they don't want to tell. It's don't ask, don't tell, the Clinton psychology of avoiding issues. Who really should go to jail when it comes to illegal labor? It should be the businessmen, the farmers who hire these people, because they are creating the reason for this flood of illegal laborers to come across the border. They are the evil ones, the farmers, the businessmen, and the political candidates who support illegal labor. Why do they support illegal labor? They want donations from the farmers and from the businessmen and from the illegal laborers. See what whores they are? They're getting it from every end, just like whores in a whorehouse. They're getting it from the businessmen, the votes, and the support, plus they're getting it from the illegal laborers who become voters eventually and who have relatives in the United States who sympathize with illegal labor and pay campaign contributions to politicians who will support illegal laborers. Show me a politician who supports illegal labor, I'll show you a whore. And really, Washington, D.C. is the whorehouse. It is the place for predators because the politicians are paid off in every way, shape, or form to support illegal labor, and they are whores because they are voted into office in order to take care of American citizens. But they play the whore by accepting campaign contributions from businessmen and farmers in order not to pay heed to or take care of the welfare of the citizens, the legal citizens, who voted them into office. See where the prostitution comes in? And of course, the lobby industry in Washington, D.C. is a means by which farmers and businessmen pay congressmen, presidents, and Supreme Court justices to be whores, to the office, to cheat on American citizens who voted them into office in order to take care of the business of the citizens. Now, what about ministers? Well, ministers would rather talk about anything except illegal labor because they're getting dirty money in the form of tithes and offerings. These businessmen and farmers, they go to church, they drop money in the collection plate, and the minister turns a blind eye, and he gets dirty money. The minister is partly responsible for the deformed babies and for illegals not being paid their wages when the farmers don't want to pay them, etc., etc., etc. So who do we have in this? Oh, yes. We also have these churches that help illegal laborers get into the United States. Now, why do they do this? Well, they're predators, too. They're predators because they're telling themselves, like the liberal press, that they're oh so good people. They aren't good people at all. They're lawless people. You remember what God says about lawless people? That day the return of Jesus Christ will not come until the man of lawlessness is revealed. The man of lawlessness is the beast. And people who are lawless are worshipers of the beast. In other words, these church members are going to hell. Okay, my time is up. Thank you for visiting our website, twoprophets.org. Tune in again and hopefully call in about the worship of the beast because we want to share your personal experiences. This is blogtalkradio.com/Edward-McKinney. Until next time, friends, this is Edward D. McKinney with twoprophets.org.
Catch a falling star and put it in your pocket, never let it fade away. Catch a falling star and put it